Welcome everyone to today's video. We have an amazing video for you today. We're going to talk about monthly for the month of October, the real estate market updates in the city of Elk Grove. We're going to talk about a lot of data, and we're also going to unpack what that data means for you. We're going to look at all the new listings data. We're going to look at overall market data in regards to number of new listings, pending, sold, price points, and also we're going to do a market pulse to see how the recent rate cuts and the listings data is having an impact on the market today. And lastly, we're going to wrap it up with showing you what today's market rates are and also what the cost of home buying looks like in the city of Elk Grove. Without wasting any time, let's get right into it. So this is one of my monthly updates. We talk about this every month. So for the month of September 1 through September 30th, we had 131 new listings that hit the market, taking the total to 278 listings valid in that month. 136 homes went pending during those 30 days, and 120 homes were sold in the month of September. In comparison to the month before, in the month of August, we had 164 listings. So as you can already tell, the number of new listings went down in the month of September. Last month, we had total 331, about 125 went pending, and ironically, the same amount of properties got sold as well in the month of August last month. So just comparing the 2 months, fewer listings on the market, but pending and sold are approximately not too far off. About 11 additional items or homes are pending this month than they were last month. Going into our graphic chart, this is one of my favorite slides, and I think hopefully you'll have a lot to take from it. What to learn on this slide is that since December of 2024, how to read this label basically is that this is the month and the year. So this is September 2024. Oh, sorry, I take that back. July 2024, August 2024, all the way down to August 2025 and September 2025. So these are the month and the year. And then this is number of homes. So if we look at for sale, meaning the active listings in the market, since December of 2024, we have been on a very, very steady incline of number of homes that are getting put on the market. So meaning new listings continued to go up until about August of 2025, which was last month or 2 months ago. However, for the first time in 8-9 months now, we had a decline in the number of homes that are available for sale, which is actually very typical. I wouldn't read too much into it. Usually as we are getting close to the holiday season and getting into winter, the listings go down. So even in the month of October, November, December, typically we see less homes hitting the market. And this data kind of proves that even if you look at 2024, although it's not a big decline, but there has been a steady decline in number of homes that were available. So which is pretty typical. So I think I expect the number to probably stay flat or go lower in the upcoming months as people are more busy with their family, celebrating the holidays and prepping for those. Hence, the number of new homes hitting the market tend to be a little bit lower. The data is even more interesting when we talk about actually sold properties. So this darker sort of green color scheme here, it's been all over the map. It's down, it's up, it's down, it's 2 months of increase, and then another decrease, up, down, and going into September it's down again. So in comparison to number of sold properties, so as an example, we sold 106 homes in the month of December last year, then 79 in Jan, 96 in Feb, 91 in March, 103 in April, 22. So this was a big increase right here. And then ever since then, it's been up and down, up and down. So this tells us that it really depends on interest rates that have a lot to do with it also. Over the last few months, as you guys know, that the interest rates have been really high, high six, even low sevens. So the rate had a lot to do with the decline and the up and down that we had in sold properties. Going into my second most informative slide in here, this basically actually compares what you saw on the last slide more on a month and a same month a year prior and a quarter this year and the year prior. So how to read this slide is basically they're looking at for sale in September 2025. We had about 278 homes as it's shown here. And in August of 2025, we had 331, which you also saw on the earlier slide. So we had about 16% decline in number of homes available for sale. In September, we sold about five less homes than the month of August. So we had about minus 4% decline in number of sale. This is an interesting table or middle section of the table as well. It's basically saying that we had 237 active listings in September 2024. Now comparing to September 2025, we have 278 listings, which is about 17% more. And going into comparing this quarter with the quarter from last year, so again, July 2025 through September 2025. So this quarter, we have 278 active listings, whereas in comparison to a year ago in 2024, we had 237. So again, just goes to show that we have a lot more homes hitting the market in 2025 than we have in 2024. And I said that a little bit earlier. So this is actually my second most favorite slide because it has a lot of data and I'm a data person. Let me move my picture a little bit to the left here. There you go. So here, a lot to unpack here as well. This is basically months of inventory. This basically shows that if we have no new homes hitting the market, let's say in October, November, December, no new listings come on the market, how long will it take for all the existing available homes to sell before we have no more homes on the market? So based on closed sales, if we get no new listings within the next 2.3 months, this basically means that we will sell out of all existing homes that we have on the market today. So anything less than 3 months is typically considered to be a seller's market. And if you have 3 months of inventory, then it's typically a fine balance. But if it's more than 3 months, let's say maybe 4 months or 5 months, then it's considered a buyer's market, given that buyers have more time to pick a property because properties are selling at a slower pace and that we have a lot of inventory on the market. Other thing that I want to pay attention to here is the average sold price in the city of Elk Grove over these months. So again, July 2024, going by each month, September 2024, all the way down to September 2025, how the average sold price of each listing has been. So in July 2024, 680,000 was the average sold price in the city of Elk Grove, and has been up and down throughout the last 11 12 months, and we are basically pretty flat compared to a little over a year ago, where the average price sold right now is $682,000. And one of the reasons why I think we went up from 671 last month to 682 is, again, interest rates. Interest rates are now below 6%, which has picked up the number of homes sold in the month of September. And also people's purchasing power goes up as interest rates come down, hence the higher sold price for the month of September. A couple of other things before we move on to Market Pulse. This basically shows the sold price in comparison to the original list price. So as we know, market was pretty competitive last year still, even with high interest rates. So properties were pretty basically selling at about 100%, maybe 99%, and we had a little dip in December to about 97%. And we are seeing similar numbers here, pretty steady actually. For the last 4 months, properties have been selling at about 97% of the original list price. This basically means that, let's say a $500,000 home hit the market. in July of 2024, that home sold at 500,000, 100% list price to sold comparison. But the same house now in the month of basically months of July, June actually, June through September 2025, the same $500,000 home is now selling at about 485,000, which is 97% sold price compared to the original list price. So prices have come down a little bit, but not too much. But it also depends on how well the house is also priced. Last thing to note on here is average days on market. Homes were selling a lot quicker last year, as you can tell here. However, this year, at least for the last quarter to perhaps 4 months, homes have been taking more than a month to sell. And ironically, last month, it was actually one of the highest average days on market for a home, which was about 45 days. Again, a little bit of a more breathing room for you as a buyer. All right, moving on to the next slide where we're going to talk about a couple of active listings and kind of checking the market pulse on those. So here's an example. A green arrow basically represents that, hey, a house was put on the market in August of 22nd of August for $949,500. It went pending in a flash, went pending in 5 days, and sold just a couple of weeks after that. Basically, pretty much got sold at list price. It was listed at 949 500 and sold for 948, about what, $1,500 difference. So again, this tells me that the house must be nice, it must be move-in ready, and also that it must have been priced really well. Comparing this to another one of these homes right here that got sold recently, started off back in June as 724, first price cut, second price cut, third price cut, and then it went pending in August, roughly about 2.5 months later, and then it got sold shortly after that for 660,000. So if you look at the original list price, 725, and sold price is 660, somebody might think that, hey, the market is on a very sharp decline. Look, a house was listed at 724, but it only sold for 660. The problem must have been that this home must have been overpriced or listed way above market to begin with. And also that this home is probably not move-in ready. So as a new buyer, when the market is not as hot as it was for many years in the past, you have more breathing room, and you also have more homes to go with, given the number of listings have been on a steady incline as well. So this tells me that the home was probably not listed, um, appropriately when it hit the market. Here's another example of a home that's actually struggling. Listed at 649,000 back in July. First price cut, second price cut, third price cut, which is basically very minimal. The listing was removed, and then it was put back on the market a couple of days later, and they have another price cut. Although price cuts are not as significant as the one that you saw with the yellow arrow, but again, this goes to show another house that's been overpriced, another home that is probably not move-in ready. So as a buyer, you have a lot more breathing to work with your realtor to get the best deal for yourself. All right, moving on to what we are seeing in the market today. Tons of incentives getting offered by new builders. So up until this slide, we talked about existing homes that are already on the market, homes that might be 5, 10, 15 years old. But this specific slide is all about new construction homes. So Elk Grove, specifically the 95757 zip code, has been on a very steady increase of building new construction homes, and a lot of new builders are offering tons of incentives. Actually, before I get in, if you're still with us in the video, please give this video a thumbs up. It takes a lot to put these data points together for you, and I would appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up so YouTube knows that you are getting value out of it, and it would be shared and also shown to other potential viewers who might be interested in this data. So I really appreciate you giving it a thumbs up. This really goes to show that you value what we are showing you in the video here today. A lot of new construction incentives are getting offered. Builders are either lowering prices, they're offering closing cost assistance. They are also lowering 30-year fixed rate, a lower rate. So let's say if the market rate is 6%, they'll offer 5.75 or maybe 5.25, or even in some cases about 5%, maybe 4.99%. And they're also offering 3-to-1 rate buy downs as well with fixed lower rates. So a lot of incentives are getting offered. So it is a good opportunity, or it is a good opportunity, at least from the recent past, to procure a new construction home. And of course, work with a local realtor such as myself, because we have relationships with these new builders and we have clients that we have represented across many different builders. So we can help assist you purchase your new home with the best assistance from the builder possible. All right, with that, I would like also to show you what the current mortgage rates are and how they kind of translate to mortgage payments. So on an earlier slide, I showed you that 682,000 is the price point of the average home sold in the month of September 2025. So we're going to use that as a base. If you put 20% down, which is about $136,000 and 400, the rate you'll be getting without paying any points here is 5.875%. So your mortgage payment would be about 3227, adding property taxes, homeowners insurance, no mortgage insurance because you're putting 20% down, so zero there. Your payment comes out to about $4,100. If you do 30% down, your down payment comes down to about 204,000. You are getting a much better rate because you're putting so much money down, so about 5.625%. 2748 is the mortgage payment, and adding the other expenses, your total comes out to a payment of 3623. Now, using the other end of it, instead of 20% down, let's say you're only doing 10% down, so your mortgage or your down payment will be about 68,000. Interest rate will be 5.875. All inclusive, adding mortgage insurance because you're doing less than 20% down, your total payment comes out to 4682. And the numbers here basically represent how much income you need to have to qualify for this mortgage. And again, this is assuming you have no other debt. So in order to qualify for this mortgage, you need to be making at least $120,000 a year without any other debt, 105,000 for the 20% down scenario, and about $96,000 a year for the 30% down scenario. So this kind of goes to show you what affordability we have in the city of Elk Grove and how the income requirements change based on how much down payment you're putting in. So hope this slide is helpful. Again, give it a thumbs up if you're enjoying this video and enjoying this data. It takes a lot to put this together, and we appreciate your appreciation for us. Oh, I need to remove my highlighter here. All right, going into our last slide here. Actually, second to last slide. Last slide is just my information. So just also want to show you what $682,000 buys you in Elk Grove. I mean, if you're from the Bay Area or from Southern California, $682,000 might not really buy you a lot. But here in Elk Grove, your money goes a long way. So a couple of homes are on the market that are in that price range, less than 700,000, about 680 price range. Easily, you can get 3 to 4 bedroom home, about 2.5 to 3 bedroom home, up to 2,500 square feet, and you have options in both brand new homes or existing homes. I mean, look at these beautiful homes. I believe this home is about 5 years old. On the bottom right, the house on the left is, I think, about 12 years old. Again, both around $682,000 price point. I believe both of them are actually 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom homes, and one of them is about 2,700 square feet, and the other one is about 2,400. So average about 2,500 square feet home is what you can get in Elk Grove, and that's how far the purchase price of $682,000 will take you. All right, now the last slide. I just wanted to introduce myself like I have done in the previous videos. My name is Sandeep Singh. I'm a local realtor and a loan officer here in Elk Grove. My contact information is on your screen. Again, we help a lot of clients purchase new homes, existing homes in the city of Elk Grove. I myself moved to Elk Grove about 7 years ago from San Jose, so I've done all the research that one would need to do before moving into the city. I have a lot of other videos, informative videos, and house tours on my channel, so feel free to check those out. And if you are considering moving to Elk Grove and you would like to keep a pulse on from a month to month basis on how the market is doing, please subscribe to our channel because I will be posting a monthly update. Every month I'll have a video similar to the one that you're watching today, for the month of November and December and so on and so forth. So you can track how the market is doing. We want to bring you facts and data so that way you can make an informed decision for you and your family. With that, this is time to say goodbye. Again, this is Sandeep Singh, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.